Welcome back to the Boys and Ball podcast. We got Mr. Boosie, Dan, and a new guest, Andrew, aka Tooty. If you like the pod, hit the like button, subscribe. Let's go.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Who's
All
ready
right.
for a new segment?
Yeah, we're getting into our basketball time now. And football's winding down. We're starting with some college basketball. Now, this is Tooty's specialty right here. All right. He studies this religiously. All right. Let's start off hot. The new segment, Andrew's mid majors.
All right.
Who's your
I like it.
go-tos? What's the teams to watch this year? Obviously, we're halfway through the year.
Yep. Right now, my favorite team is FAU, Florida Atlantic. They just been playing the best basketball I've seen at all the mid majors. I mean, they just had their second loss of the season. They just dominate everybody they play. They're really deep. They go about 10 deep. John L. Davis and Elijah Martin are their two guards they go to. Their coach been bringing them off the bench lately. It's been they're just one of those teams that I think that if they get into the tournament, they could go pretty far. They're complete. So it's not just a mid-major team. It's more of just like one of those powerhouses from, a conference is just not like the ACC or the SEC.
Yeah, so I mean, looking at this team, this is FAU's first time being ranked in the top 25.
Mhm.
They haven't lost since their second game of the season.
Yeah.
They're 17-1. What makes this team stand out differently from previous FAU teams?
Well, I don't think FAU ever had a good basketball program. Pretty much, I don't think they've ever had a good program, to be honest. I don't know anybody that's came from FAU. But just recently, their coach just made a program out of it, recruited the right players, and they're deep. Like they go about, like I said, 10 deep. I mean, they have a lot of players and a lot of experience. So, I mean, that's just kind of what just helps them, is the experience.
And that's rare because most college teams only go about 8 deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so are you telling me that they could probably throw two different full starting lineups out there and get about the same result?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. That's how they play.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. They're backup guards. I mean, they play just like starters. It's impressive.
What's team number 2?
Team number 2. Well, I'm watching a couple teams right now. I got in my background TV, I got like the multicast on ESPN. You have like the grid of teams. But my second favorite is UMass Lowell. All right.
Okay.
They're top of their conference as well. That's off guard. Let me look up their conference. They're like in the American Conference, or
Hey, I mean, there's a lot of conferences in college basketball. Hard to keep up with them all.
There's a ton of conferences. But basically, they top to bottom, they have a Pittsburgh transfer, Koulibaly downtown. He's their center. He's solid. They have, two good guards. So I don't know. I just think they could be like a Loyola Chicago that goes into the tournament once they win their conference championship. They might make a splash.
You think this is a team that can go on a run like Loyola, make it to, possibly the Elite Eight, Final Four?
I don't think Elite Eight or Final Four. Maybe just for right now. They're playing UMBC right now, and UMBC is pretty good. And they're up by 4. So.
UMBC is on top of that.
But
yeah, it's like UMBC is on top of that conference right now, the American East. So
American East, yeah.
Yep.
So it's just, I don't know. I think they could definitely make a run in the tournament if they get there.
Okay, all right. A little sleeper team. What's the next one? Team number 3, final team. Who ranks out your top 3?
I like Indiana State.
Okay.
All right. I like Indiana State. I like them. Kavasi and McCauley. All right. He's like a combo guard forward type player. He's really just like a shot maker, do it all. He, in the beginning of the season, when they were like 5-1, he had like 24 points per game, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. He's kind of like that type of player where he wants to do everything. He's their engine, and I mean they're another team that's recruited well in the transfer portal. I like the way they play. They're probably my third favorite team.
Now, what's up with the struggles from Indiana State lately? I mean, they're kind of were a little streaky. In their last 9 games, they're 4-5, and that was 3 losses, then 4 straight wins, and then back-to-back losses. Now they're playing right now, so we don't know how that's going to turn out. But what's up with some of those struggles there?
Well, their guard play has been shaky. It's just about having the turnovers limited and also just rebounding out of that position. Their rebounding hasn't been that great. And I mean, just making shots. Plus, when you play some of the teams they've played in the past, I mean, teams they've beaten recently, but Southern Illinois, solid team. Missouri State, pretty solid. That's a tough team to beat at their place. But I mean, I think they'll eventually be atop of that conference at the end of the season. They have the depth, and McCauley seems to be like an underrated player. Either go overseas or maybe make it to the G League or NBA. I'm serious. I think he's a pretty good player.
Okay. All right. Well, getting away from some of the mid majors, let's go to some of the big boys. What's going on in the ACC? The normal top dogs are not there right now.
Yeah,
UNC, Duke.
What's going on?
Well, I think that just another thing with the ACC transfer portal, kind of just help everybody get more talent. You got Clemson. Clemson was the top of the. I mean, I think they're still at the top of the ACC right now.
They're at the top of the ACC right now.
Yeah. Now there's also they have the portal, and then they have Hunter Tyson, PJ Hall. There's the guys who've been there for a while. But there's just talent that's going everywhere. All right, so every team that has money, can pay these basketball players pretty much the same thing. So the money is really not an aspect. It's just about the fit and the coaching and all that. So ACC schools, they all have really good coaching. They're pretty much just going to get some top talent now all the time. I mean, this class for Syracuse that, I'm a Syracuse fan, we just brought in, that's the best class I've seen us ever get, like since I've been following. And it's 5 pretty much 4-star recruits. That's pretty good in one class. So I don't know. I think that's just how it's going in the ACC.
Okay. Now going into Syracuse, you guys have struggled a little bit. Now you seem to have turned it on as of late, but early in the season, you guys were, struggling, losing to a couple teams like St. John's and Bryant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was that just new guys, figuring it out how to play together, or is that shaky guard play?
Well, the thing with Syracuse is we got a lot of freshmen playing, and we have a lot of just guys that have never been in that moment. You got Benny Williams. I mean, he's a true sophomore. He was a 5-star recruit, and he barely played last year. Now he's in a role where he's supposed to be like our top forward. And, Coach Boeheim talks about how he's playing well in practice and that he just doesn't translate into the games. And he's had some really good games, but he's also had some games where you just don't even see him. But
is part of that struggle
early on in the season, I would just say that we just have freshman guards, freshman forwards now. I mean, it's just a different team. So we're going to lose to a team like Bryant that has experience and Colgate that has experience.
Is part of that struggle early as well, the freshmen learning that 2-3 zone? Like, that's not a typical 2-3 zone. That's a very, very, very complicated zone that Syracuse has run for the past decade.
Yeah, I don't think the zone is actually that hard to figure out. And that's something Boeheim preaches a lot too. It's really just, sometimes man is harder to figure out just because you have to stay in front of that guy. He could teach people the zone, in 2 weeks if he really needed to. So it's just a matter of execution and wanting to do it. So and you got a lot of freshmen in those wing spots, really the most important spots in the zone. and they're not rebounding, man. I mean, our two forwards rebound like probably average like 3 total rebounds a game for 2 players. You know, our
And yeah,
centers
that's
tend to
bad
do
when
everything.
your 3 and your 4 are getting that low rebounds, especially in that zone, because
Yeah.
your guards box out and they're only there for long rebounds. So those forwards have to go attack and get that board.
Yeah, that's tough. That's just basically where our struggles are pretty much at.
Okay. Well, Dan, what is your bandwagon team?
Ooh, I don't know. It's hard. We gotta find someone this. If you watch the college football segment, we bandwagon TCU. They made it all the way to the championship. I'm thinking we might have to follow the Horned Frogs again this year. I mean, for this season. So it's either going to be TCU or Boise State. Those are my 2 bandwagon states that I'm gonna start following for college basketball.
The bandwagon teams.
Those are the bandwagon teams.
Okay. Boise State's solid. They're having a good year. A little bit up from where they normally are.
I like Boise State. Marcus Shaver Jr., good guard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bruce,
yeah.
do you have a bandwagon team, a team that you really like so far through this half of the year?
I mean, not particularly, man. I mean, I'm just like kind of excited. I'm starting to grasp like the college film again because I'm getting excited for that tournament that's coming around the corner. I know it's still like, it's right at the end of January. We're still going in February, but I mean, like that tournament's right around the corner, and like I'm starting to get that fever for basketball. So I'm just really excited to watch pretty much any team compete. But like, if I have to pick like one team, like I guess I'll also choose TCU. And I'll
Okay.
also watch them Buckeyes.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Which we've struggled as of late.
Yeah,
We
we
got
have.
we got off to a pretty decent start to start the year, and that's kind of fallen apart. I think
Yeah,
we're struggling to be 500. We were ranked at one point in the year. Big Ten play has not been friendly towards us,
absolutely not. That you'll have that sometimes. You'll have
and
that in
we're
your big.
and it sucks because we're dropping close games. These aren't, we're not getting blown out or anything where it's like, oh, there's a talent issue. Like we're just losing like 4 to 7 point games, and
Yeah, it's not like yeah.
but
Got to tighten up a little bit. Hold the head
my,
high.
You're on a little
my
4-game slid right now.
yeah,
Yeah,
my bandwagon team and a team I'm surprised Andrew didn't bring up in this, College of Charleston.
All right.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, why didn't you have College of Charleston in that mid-major top 3?
I think that I think with College of Charleston, they don't have the size to last in the tournament. I think they're going to get matched. They'll probably end up winning their conference championship, and they're going to be in a spot where they're going to play a team that's much bigger, much more athletic than them, and that's just going to be where I just don't see them going that far.
Yeah, I mean, that is my one issue with College of Charleston because you really look at their schedule, they haven't really played anybody.
Mm-hmm.
They beat a Virginia Tech team that's never, really great. Their one loss on the year was to North Carolina, who beat them by, almost 20.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a worry there that, they're beating up on lesser teams. They have good guard play, small ball. They can shoot the ball pretty well.
Yeah.
They're going to beat up on these small teams, and when they go up against a big dog, it's going to be a completely different story.
That's what I think, like, they played North Carolina, they lost 102 to 86. So I just think, you play one of these bigger teams, they have good wins, Davidson, Colorado State, Virginia Tech, that's a good win. There's a lot of these teams that they play, even a team like at Towson, and they won in overtime. That's a good win. So, I mean, they could still end up, they might not lose again for a while, but I just can't see them going far.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to rely on in the tournament, getting hot. Yeah, especially from that guard position where they go on that run as a team where they're shooting 35-40% from 3 for a 4 or 5 game stretch in the tournament, and then they can get on a roll and upset some teams.
Yeah.
Let's see
that.
But I mean, there was a game last night, pretty good game. Kansas got upset by Kansas State. I mean, overtime game. Kansas State is no pushover in their own right. They're having a really good season, but what allowed them to beat Kansas?
Marquise Knoll.
Okay. That's the X factor for them.
He's the X factor. He's their guard. That's something that's been on my mind about him. Just watching him play could he be? He's 5'8", but I wonder if he could be in the NBA, like an Isaiah Thomas type player, maybe a little bit different because he's a decent defender for his size.
Yeah. Now, the one thing that is, surprising when you say that Marcus Knowles is their X factor, but you look at that game against Kansas, he played 42 minutes, but he was 2 for 8 from the field. He only scored 4 points, but he did have those 7 assists, had 4 steals. So he was still doing things on the court, but there wasn't that point production. So it's almost surprising for someone to say, "Oh, this is their X factor," when in some of those big games he's not the guy providing the points.
Yeah, but if you look at his recent games, he's been averaging like 20 points per game. He's usually their firepower, like microwave type player, but it's just his presence out on the court, just the way he moves the ball, he's transition, he's a presence. People they're trying to kind of lean up on him because he can spot up and shoot, or he can drive to the basket. But I don't know. I just think he's their engine right now. And Keontae Johnson, that's the other guy they have. That's pretty good. That's the guy from Florida that collapsed on the court like 2 years ago. So he transferred to Kansas State, and now he's like one of their better players. He's pretty good too. So I was going to say Kansas State was a team that I kind of like as a bandwagon. So.
Okay. Yeah, I like Kansas State. My one issue with them is you look at their last couple games and they seem to be really streaky offensively. You go back 5 games ago, they beat Texas, they put up 116. Then they beat Baylor, they put up 97. And then they go, have a home game against Oklahoma State, only put up 65. Now, Oklahoma State is normally a really good defensive team, so that makes sense. But then they go at TCU and they put up 68 and get blown out.
Yeah.
And then, they beat Kansas and they put up 83. So that team worries me a little bit because it seems like when they have some big wins, they have to put up a lot of points to get them.
Yeah, I mean, and plus that's just Big 12 basketball. You have a lot of athletes, you have a lot of shooters. It's just that kind of high-scoring basketball type of. Look at Kansas. I mean, Kansas is going to score 120 if you let them. That's just how like some of those top teams are in that conference are built. So I think that's just for them. If they're not scoring, if they have bad shooting night, especially with a guy who Marcus Knoll, who's smaller. I mean, if he can't get it going, you're in trouble. So.
Yeah. The last team I want to talk about here, Houston. Number 1 team in the country right now. But again, you start looking at that schedule, they don't have very many elite wins. They have a win over Oregon, a win over St. Mary's, a win over Virginia, but they have a loss to Alabama. Is this a team that once again is going to have 30 wins going into the tournament and is going to get bounced in the first or second round?
I mean, I was just saying, I think they're probably a team that's not. You're probably going to see go to the Sweet 16, but then lose early.
You'll see them get upset on an attempted deep run.
I mean, Andrew, how do you feel about Houston?
Marcus Sasser's pretty good. He's one of the best guards in the country, to be honest. I'm surprised he didn't go to the draft last year. He probably could have still not have been a second-round pick, but he'd be in the league playing. I just can't see them going that far, though. I don't see them going that far. The size difference.
I think that's their issue.
They have a lot. There's a lot of strong teams this year that are a lot better. I like Alabama. They're good. Alabama's solid.
Okay. Well, just a quick intro to college football or college basketball. See, there it is. Football's been here. It is what it is. We're going to hop over to the NBA.
Let's go to the league.
To the league. Andrew, your team made a crazy trade in the offseason. How you feeling about your team halfway through the year?
I mean, this is the most fun I've had just being a fan. I mean, of any team in a while. Just we got rid of our two best players, got a bunch of picks, and a bunch of fun players that I like. I mean, I love Jared Vanderbilt. I love Laurie Markkinen now, and I never disliked them beforehand. So it's just we have a great group of guys.
And what is your team?
Utah Jazz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Utah Jazz. Okay. But figured you'd pick up when I said Laurie Markkinen.
No, I knew who it was, but I had to make sure everyone at
Fans
home
for the
knows.
fans, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. But I mean, I love it. I think our team's honestly a play-in type of team. I think we could be a 10 seed if we really wanted to, or a 9, something like that. Put it together, make a trade. But I do think if we keep the core and we make a trade at the deadline, for a big piece with the picks that we have, we can make a big splash, and that would put us into some serious, I don't know, depending on who we can keep and what we can get. I think the Jazz could end up going from no playoffs to maybe play-in to be in the middle of the pack to that top 3 spot of contending.
Yeah.
So I got a question for you. You got rid of Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert, and a lot of people were talking about the Jazz always struggling in the playoffs due to just some cohesion not working the way Rudy Gobert plays. How do you see the future of your team going forward now that you've gotten rid of some of those people and you're in a little bit of a rebuild?
I think with the new coach Will Hardy, he's pretty much using his style kind of gets from the Spurs, playing the big guys, wanting to have a lot of rebounding, sharing the ball, playing good defense, and it all kind of comes from defense then to offense. And then he kind of just lets players play freely. Everybody's safe to take a good shot as long as it's a good shot. You know what I mean, or an open shot. Jordan Clarkson has all the freedom in the world, and he's playing
Bro, yeah.
He's playing.
I love Jordan Clarkson.
If you watch him on a random night and you watch a Jazz game, he looks like an all-star. So
He does.
It's fun.
Absolutely. He's been looking very solid this season.
No, I think the Jazz will be fine. It's honestly better off now. I think I miss Rudy more than I miss Donovan.
The problem is in the playoffs, as me and JT talked about, was he's just always that one big mismatch that you had every time. He plays very well in the regular season, but you hit the playoffs and teams start scheming around him, and it's very easy to scheme him out.
Then he plays 10 minutes
the floor and stuff, and then they just take him completely out of the game because he can't guard at the perimeter.
Then Rudy Gobert's stuck to playing 15 minutes a game, and his production is trash.
Yeah.
I mean, look at what happened last year with the Jazz Mavs matchup. They started putting Luka Doncic on Rudy Gobert. If you're getting paid $30 million a year, you got to be able to bully Luka Doncic.
Absolutely, bro. That's a whole meme right there.
Yeah.
I mean, Luka's also super talented.
Yeah, but Luka's not known for his defensive abilities.
He locked up the best defender in the NBA, bro.
Oh, fantastic. Okay. So I wanted to jump into a couple trade rumors we got going on here. As we're approaching, kind of that midway point of the year, you start to see some teams looking for the future. One of the trade rumors here is a trade between the Lakers and the Bulls that would send DeMar DeRozan and Nikola Vucevic to Los Angeles.
Interesting.
Okay.
I miss DeMar DeRozan, bro.
Now, in this trade, the Lakers would give up 2 first-round picks and Russell Westbrook.
Ooh.
Good.
Do the Bulls really pay Russell Westbrook that type of money?
I mean, they got to get rid of Vucevic's contract, I think. I think it's, again, just a contract that's just as bad as
Yeah, but isn't Russ
Russell's.
like $50 million?
Yeah.
It's like $44 million.
Something like that, yeah. It's a lot.
It's pretty big.
You said Russell going to the Bulls?
Yeah.
Huh. That'd be interesting.
It would be interesting. It's just trade rumors, nothing that's like actual talk or anything, just speculation.
Yeah.
Um, the other thing I saw here was that the Bulls have shown interest in DeAndre Ayton. So I assume if a trade there would, entail Vucevic or DeMar or someone of
Yeah.
that nature to make that happen.
Yeah. I've also saw the Raptors were interested in Ayton.
Ayton,
Yeah,
okay.
more.
Yeah.
So, but I think if the Lakers were to get DeMar, I think DeMar is more important than Vucevic, but I think that's a lot better fit for the Lakers because he
I
brings
feel
more defense and size than
Yeah, but I
Westbrook
think
does.
Vucevic can still be a good rotation player for them.
Oh no, Vucevic still starts. If you bring in Vucevic with that contract, he's still starting. Anthony Davis gets to play the floor in the 35 games a year that he's healthy.
Okay. Fair enough.
It's true. It's just how it is.
The dude cannot stay healthy. It's been like that for the past like 5 years. It's he misses half the regular season every year with some sort of ankle injury.
Yeah.
Dude, he had to do reshoots for the new Space Jam movie.
Okay.
He's in LA, you see.
So the next trade rumor, and I know Andrew is a fan of this guy. The
Ooh.
Wizards are exploring trade options for Rui Hachimura.
Yeah. I have seen that. I
So
don't know. I got a text from a friend asking if, I would be interested if Rui went to the Jazz or something like that. But I don't know. Not for my team, but I think he could help. He could help a team like the Lakers or the Heat. The Heat would definitely need somebody like Rui at the forward spot with some size.
yeah, I think Rui's in a tough spot with today's NBA where he's really gonna have to play the power forward position. He's not a great shooter from outside, and he's also only 6'8". So you're
Yeah.
kind of in a situation where you're not a stretch four, and you're also not big enough to be, like a Jonathan Isaac that's like 6'10", 6'11", and could be moved down in like a small ball lineup.
Yeah, but I think with Rui, he's got long arms. He's a good post player. I don't think I think his size is okay. He's strong. I don't think it would help if he was taller, but I like his size where he's at.
So Kuzma, Hachimura, and Porzingis are all going to be available at the end of this season for the free
Ooh.
agency. So do you think this is like them exploring offers for him? Is them trying to decide on who they're going to keep and continue forward on the team? Because they're probably, that's a lot of money to re-sign all three forwards coming at the end of their deal at the same time. They're
What
trying
was
to trade
it?
him while he's still worth something before they have to throw money at him.
Yeah. That's a really good point. I think they would want to try to keep Kuzma. If anything, he's playing like he's their best player.
Oh, that's what I'm reading right now. Is they say that they really want to keep Kuzma, and trading away either Porzingis or Hachimura would help free up money to re-sign the other two.
Okay, yeah. I think they should definitely. If I don't know what the Wizards are actually trying to do though. It's very confusing because I've also heard stuff about them shopping Kuzma in case they can get a bigger piece. So I don't know.
Yeah, I see that too. They're like, he's generating a lot of interest around the league, but so as to say that they would like to hang on to him. Just because they want to hang on to him doesn't mean that they will.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Obviously, if they get a big enough deal, they're going to ship him out anyway. That team's not in the. I don't think they're in the market to make a giant run.
No, they're not at all.
So another trade I have seen is a three-team trade, a little bit of a blockbuster trade here, where it's between the Hornets, Heat, and Lakers,
Yeah.
where the Lakers would get Terry Rozier, Kelly Oubre, and Duncan Robinson.
Interesting. That's a lot of depth.
The Heat would get PJ Washington and a Lakers second, and the Hornets would get Russell Westbrook and a couple first-round picks from the Lakers.
Interesting. I kind of like the way that sounds for everybody.
I think that's helpful for the Hornets because I mean they need draft capital. They got to get some help. Melo's a solid piece, but you lost one of your best players, Miles Bridges, in the off season to stupidity. uh,
Bro,
you gotta get some better players there.
I thought the
Right,
Lakers
there's
were
not-
working out Miles Bridges.
The Lakers were
Yeah, I heard something about it. I thought they were like supposed to be working him out, seeing if he was in shape.
interesting. I didn't hear that, but that's a little wild.
That'd be.
I mean, it'd
I'm
be a
sure
nice
he'll make it
pickup
back in the
for
league somehow.
basketball wise. It'd be a nice pickup, but
but
we'll have to
I-
see.
bro, I feel so bad for like it seems like no one wants to be in Charlotte right now. Like that Hornets team does not want to play.
No one's wanted to be in Charlotte for the past 20 years.
Bro, did you see Jaw just let the ball roll for like 20 seconds and no one on Charlotte even crossed that half of the court though, forcing the pickup.
Yeah.
Like he quite literally burned 15 seconds off the clock and just
Oh yeah, I did.
and no one Charlotte even crossed the court till I think Terry Rozier then crossed and finally made him pick it up. But
I mean, that's a dumpster fire organization, and it's been that way for a long time.
bro, but they were what didn't they make the play-in tournament last year?
Yeah, but that was
Yeah.
with Miles Bridges.
Bro, like Miles Bridges left in that the team was like, well, we're done. We're calling the season.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was really, really good for them.
yeah. He was super athletic. I mean, he can shoot the ball a little bit. I mean, if the Lakers picked him up and like everything was clear, like legally and everything, that like he's not gonna possibly go to jail or anything.
Yeah.
That's a huge pickup for the Lakers.
Uh,
But the other trade I want to talk about real quick involves your Jazz. And the Jazz received John Collins, and in exchange, you give up Malik Beasley and Kelly Olynyk.
I'm perfectly fine with it.
I think that's a great trade.
I think that's a great trade for Utah.
I think that's a finesse of a century.
Yeah, that's a really good trade.
Yeah, I mean, Collins will probably have to play. I don't know what we'll do because we might just run a massive lineup and just have huge forwards.
I mean, that's basically what you're doing now because Markkanen's been playing the three he did it in Cleveland and he's playing the three for you guys.
Did you say that was Jared Vanderbilt in that trade?
No.
He wasn't. It was just Beasley and Olynyk.
Yeah.
Okay. Because then I guess Vanderbilt would come off the bench because Walker Kessler is going to he's going to start for us. And I don't know. I think he'll start and then Markkanen or Collins will play the four if Collins comes. We'll have a massive lineup and then two guards that will have some size there.
No, I mean, I think that's a huge pickup for you guys. If that were to happen, I mean, that's a great building piece. I mean, John Collins is a dog. I mean, a couple of the surprising teams I think this year for the NBA is like one, the Clippers are 500 right now. I think that's a little wild here. I don't think that's with Kawhi.
You expect them to be better?
I expect them to be a little bit better with Kawhi Leonard, like in the defense that Paul and Leonard can bring. I don't expect them to be the number 1 seed, but I expect them to be the 4 or 5 seed at the end of the year.
Man, I miss Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
You had him for 1 year.
Yeah, he did in that 1 year.
Yeah, he got to play an injured Warriors team.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Raptors dub.
But I mean, the Nuggets out here, number 1 seed. Is Jokic going for the three-peat?
Hell yeah, man. Joker, bro. Joker is I love him, bro. I love his court vision that he's got. He's one of the best passing big men in the league, and he just makes me so excited to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I think he should definitely three-peat. He's the best. He's playing like the best player in the league right now.
Yeah.
I mean, he's close to averaging that triple-double for the season. He's like hovering. He's hovering right outside it right now. So it's very possible.
The only player I think Luka is up there. Like
Yeah, Luka's
Luca,
kinda
Luca
awful
is
like that.
carrying a relatively trash roster to an above 500 season right now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say the roster's that trash, and I don't understand where people say that because I think Dinwiddie and Christian Wood are solid.
They're solid,
Um,
yeah. But he doesn't have a second person on that team with him. He is superstar number one and only.
I think it's because he chooses to. Like I think Dinwiddie and Tim Hardaway in a when he's healthy and ready, like and they could supply scoring. Luka's
Yeah.
like a James Harden 2.0, really.
Yeah.
I think Luca's better than James Harden
But he
was even in
plays
those
he plays
situations.
the same style of basketball, same numbers pretty much.
I don't know. I don't know if I feel that way. That seems like a hot take that I'm not willing to support.
Yeah, you can have that one. You can grab that one, keep that one in your pocket.
I'm telling you, man, Luka plays the exact same way as Harden. It just looks different.
I think
Ball,
Luca's play
ISO
style is
ball,
closer to
it's all like I mean his usage rate is just I mean he's probably got the highest usage rate in the league. I mean he gets the ball the entire time.
to me it's like LeBron in 2007 with the Cavs.
That
It's a little different where
Jonathan Alcus.
where James Harden had has had some great players he's played with, and when Westbrook was playing well, when Paul was there, and his usage rates were still that high. Um, the other team I want to talk about, my Cavs.
Cavs.
These boys are playing this year. We're getting some good wins. We've lost a couple games. There were real tight games, but I think this lineup's starting to come together. I mean, you got a lot of size on, from your bigs with Jarrett Allen, a great rim protector. Evan Mobley can really guard any position. He can do, almost anything you need him to do from that 4 spot. The only thing that worries me about this team is you got 2 6-foot guards. And when that comes playoff time, you saw what happened with Portland for the past couple of years. It,
Doesn't work out. Well.
Defense starts to become an issue there.
Yeah.
But I think this is a Cavs team I mean, they're playing well. Garland's missed some games. Donovan Mitchell's missed a couple of games, and they've still been able to find ways to win. So I think this is a Cavs team that has a pretty good future in front of them.
Yeah, I said one thing that worries me is, even Ricky Rubio and your other backup guard are also very too small dudes. So if they have to come in rotation, like it's not like that one the Warriors team where the backup guard was 6'7",
Sean Livingston was 6'8",
6'7", 6'8", and could basically play small forward at the point guard position.
I mean, yeah, small at the guard spot, but I think the one thing that helps us is like Karis LeVert is a pretty good defender. I mean, he's only 6'5", but he's coming off the bench. When both Garland and Mitchell are healthy, and he's a pretty good defender, and he can score a little bit. And then Isaac Okoro is a great defender at that 3 spot, where he's versatile and he can pick up like 1 to 4 pretty much.
He can't shoot though.
You're right. He cannot shoot.
He can't score. He can't shoot. I'm surprised he's still in the league.
That's because he's a good enough defender, and we spent a 1st-round pick on him.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I mean, Harden, jumping to another team. Harden came out and said the 76ers team this year is the best chance he's ever had in his career to win a championship.
Really? He feels that strongly about the unit there?
He's never played with a player like Joel Embiid.
True.
Yeah, but didn't he basically played with prime Westbrook,
Yeah,
I mean, he
but
played with Durant.
Not really. Prime Westbrook was averaging a triple-double for a whole year. That was Prime Westbrook.
Yeah, before he went to play with Harden.
Yeah,
Because when Harden played with him, Westbrook wasn't doing anything crazy, and
KD was still kind of a budding star.
but I don't know. That seems like a strong take from Harden here. I think once again this is a 76ers team that's good. They're going to be carried by Embiid
Until he gets hurt.
He's going to take them to the the 2nd, 3rd round of the playoffs, and they're going to get bounced. by a better squad.
Yeah, but he's been also kind of getting catching the injury bug past few
Embiid?
years. Yeah.
Embiid's had the injury bug his entire career.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, like, it
It's-
seems like it's a little bit like the time is becoming more significant over the past couple of years.
It's the 76ers way.
But yeah, trust the process.
Yeah, trust the process. Be a top 3 pick and be hurt half your career, which is what you do.
There was another guy who did that very well. What was his name? Greg Oden.
And I think it's a little different. Greg Oden got hurt and was never good.
But he finessed for money. He did it.
That's questionable. That's questionable. But I want to get your boys' opinion. Who do you think is the favorite out of the NBA to win the chip this year?
Oof.
Ah,
I've got a dark horse team.
It's the Warriors.
Think the Warriors again?
Yeah, Warriors fully healthy. I mean, I don't know. They seem pretty much unstoppable.
I mean, they are 500 this year. So I don't know if they're unstoppable. It seems like they've definitely taken a step back. It's not this is not the same Warriors team that won the chip last year.
Yeah, I mean no, I mean that's just regular season ball. I mean, it's all about the playoffs. I think the Warriors, when you come to the playoff time, everybody has taken some small strides this season, and they'll take some more strides as they start, after the trade deadline, they'll start ramping up basketball again. Like, everybody starts kind of playing more competitively. They'll start Steve Kerr will start using some different lineups. So I think that I think the Warriors would be pretty strong once they go into the playoffs if they're healthy. I mean, Klay Thompson's Klay Thompson again, and he looked terrible last year. He really did. So,
Oh, I hadn't played in 2 years.
yeah, well, exactly. So now if he's back to Klay Thompson and Steph Curry comes back, Draymond will be Draymond. I'm just hopefully he's healthy
it's
back
what it
then.
is.
But I mean, Looney looks better. Kuminga's had some couple good games. Wiseman I don't know what he's doing really, but
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing.
I've heard
he
he's
looked good early on in the
He's maybe he hasn't played.
I like the Warriors
Okay.
as the contender, not as my favorite to go to the finals.
Okay, who's your favorite to go to the finals, though?
I like the Nuggets.
Okay. See, that was the whole question. I don't know why you came with the Warriors. The whole question was who's going to the finals.
Oh, sorry. So you said who's like around the league? Who's the favorite?
No. You personally. You.
Oh, I got the Nuggets going to the finals.
Okay, you got Joker.
Bro, Nuggets Heat, bro.
I think as Murray gets healthier too, and like you said, he starts to ramp it up, you're going to see a lot more production out of him. Where they're kind of taking it slow with him until it starts to get later in the season. Especially when you're 31-13, you don't got to rush a dude back from injury and force him to play 40 minutes a game.
Yeah, I think it'll be Nuggets and Bucks.
Okay.
That's who I got.
Yeah, I don't think Boston's going back. I'm still not a fan of this team.
I think they're definitely going to go back to the Eastern Conference Finals. I just don't see them coming out of it on top.
My problem with this Boston team, and it is what makes them win, but like they're completely reliant on defense and playing well as a team.
Mm-hmm.
And like
not everyone shows up 100% every night.
I in the playoffs the stars come out, and I don't think Giannis is going to let it happen 2 years in a row. I think I agree with Andrew on that.
Yeah.
But my dark horse out of the Western Conference is the Grizzlies. I think this team is approaching that. Desmond Bane is solid. Starting to come into his own. Ja is starting to take that step forward into superstardom.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a team to watch. If they don't go this year, then the next year or two, watch out for this team.
I gotta agree with you. My favorite out of the West is the Grizzlies. Give my boy Ja another fucking PED test. Just like number 9 on the year. Keep feeding him.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, bro, it's like you're like, yep. had that crazy dunk, showed up in the locker room, says report for a PED test.
Yeah, after he tomahawked it on that dude, like, what was it, 2 nights ago? He posted on Twitter and said, "Oh, got another random drug test." So
Yeah, I mean the Grizzlies are pretty good. I mean, I could see them going far just based on their depth. I think that's their best quality. I think they have the best depth in the Western Conference. They got guys like Zaire Williams that's back. He's like a sophomore out of Stanford, second season. But they got some pieces that could get them farther in the playoffs, but I don't know if they can get over the edge. I don't think they could beat a full strength Warriors team.
Yeah.
I don't know. They almost did it last year.
Yeah,
They played a good series until Ja got hurt.
Yeah, I thought that was a very, very
Having
good
a real
series.
deep bench is a really good recipe to go deep in the NBA playoffs.
Until the fact that when you get to the playoffs, just like with most college teams, NBA teams go down to about a 7-8 man rotation.
But I think that's what makes the Warriors so good. Is every year it seems like those bench players just play out of their mind every time playoff hits. Yeah.
And Klay Thompson's healthy, that's tough.
Yeah,
Here's what
Bruce,
Steve Kerr does.
Who's your sleepers?
We're gonna go with the Nuggets and the Heat, bro.
The Nuggets and the Heat. You have the Heat coming out of the
the
West.
Yeah, man. I think they're a savvy group.
I think I would go the opposite direction on that, and I would say they're a washed group.
That's okay. I think they're a savvy group.
I'm just once again not a fan of Kyle Lowry.
That's okay. I'm not a fan of Kyle Lowry either. I'm a Raptors fan. I didn't like him whenever he's here, but I mean, he kind of fits. He kind of fits the team in Miami.
I like that. I like that take.
I
like the Heat, especially if they make a move.
That's what I'm saying. Like if they make a move before the trade deadline and they kind of bring in that one last little piece, that one more depth guy, or that one guy who can make an impact on the starting lineup immediately. Like that could be a dark team to come out of the East.
I like that.
Okay.
I fuck with that.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go, JT.
No, I mean, I'm not a fan of that take, but please, at the end of the year, please prove me wrong.
Jimmy Butler, man, he can put them on his shoulders and take.
Oh, yeah,
and that's when he decides that he wants to be good, and unfortunately, that does not happen every game.
Bro, that's okay. It's only
It's
gotta happen
happened a lot in the
playoffs.
Does he still have that ridiculous haircut?
Hell yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Well, on that note,
he had that for like 2 days or something. The dreads.
Yeah.
And that was long enough.
He just did it to make the NBA take his profile pictures that way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's pretty funny, actually.
Yeah.
well, on that note, this has been the Boy and Ball podcast. If you like it, hit the like button, subscribe. Bow.